Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we cut through the noise, help you get well-informed, quickly and effectively. Today, we're diving into entrepreneurship, but not just, the definition. We're looking at the blueprint, the deep internal mechanics of what it really takes, from how you think to your values. What makes an entrepreneur tick and succeed?
That's exactly right. Our mission here is to unpack those core components. We've looked at our source material, which does a brilliant job exploring the entrepreneurial mindset, the traits, the skills, and importantly, the ethics. We want to show you how all these pieces, well, how they fit together to build something that lasts.
Yeah, and I think what's really compelling is how practical this stuff is. I mean, whether you're actually starting a venture or maybe leading a team or even just wanting to be more innovative in your life, there are some real nuggets of knowledge here, things you can apply almost straight away. So let's start with that foundation you mentioned, the entrepreneurial mindset. What exactly is it? Is it more than just a cool phrase?
It definitely is. At its core, it's really a way of thinking. It's characterized by, well, creativity, a drive for innovation, and crucially, a willingness to take calculated risks. The essence is being able to spot opportunities, maybe ones others miss, and seeing value where maybe others just see problems. And then, transforming those insights into real projects that actually benefit customers. It's almost like having X-ray vision for potential.
X-ray vision. I like that analogy. So what's underpinning this? What positive attributes does it rely on? What's the foundation?
It's really built on positive and remarkably flexible thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with this mindset is often driven by a real passion, and they have a pretty clear vision for where they're going. But here's the kicker. They aren't paralyzed by fear when it comes to calculated risk.
Mm-hmm.
For them, failure isn't, well, it's not the end. It's more like data. You learn from it. It's just a necessary step, really, on the path to future success. To innovate, you kind of have to experiment, don't you?
Right, right. So it's not just about risk-taking and bouncing back. It sounds like there's a big learning element here, too. What else does this mindset foster?
Exactly. It really emphasizes a strong desire for continuous learning and adaptation. Entrepreneurs get that the business world isn't static. It's constantly shifting, like a landscape that changes. So they know they need to stay updated, be open to new ideas, and actively learn from others, people with different expertise or perspectives. It's a kind of lifelong learning mindset.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so how does adopting this kind of thinking actually translate into, real benefits for someone beyond the idea of just being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, good question. The source actually highlights 5 key benefits that make it pretty clear. First, it really equips you for overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
It's not just about fixing problems, but seeing them almost as creative puzzles, thinking outside the box. Second, it boosts creative problem solving. You start thinking in ways maybe you hadn't before. It really enhances that natural creativity. Third, you gain influence and inspiration. Your ability to innovate can genuinely make a difference, for your team, your community. It attracts people.
Okay, makes sense.
Fourth, there's enhanced self-respect. Believing in your ideas, your goals, it strengthens your self-esteem, and that lets you lift up your whole team. And finally, fifth, it builds decisiveness and responsibility. Making those timely choices, taking ownership of outcomes, and always learning from mistakes, acting on ideas without that fear of what if.
Those are really strong benefits. So it begs the question then, is this mindset only for seasoned executives or managers? Is it an exclusive club?
Oh, absolutely not. That's a key point. It's not limited to experienced business people.
Right.
Anyone, really, can develop this mindset.
Right.
It takes training, maybe getting qualifications, gaining knowledge, education. It doesn't matter where you are in your career. It's a skill set, fundamentally, not some innate thing you're born with.
Got it. Okay, so moving from that mindset, the sort of internal operating system, let's talk specifics, the personal traits that seem to underpin success. If the mindset's the plan, maybe these traits are the core building blocks.
That's a great way to put it. Our source material is clear.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset is vital, yes, but there are specific positive qualities that, when you practice them, form the core of that entrepreneurial personality. It identifies 7 fundamental traits that seem key.
7 traits. Okay, let's walk through them. What makes each one so essential for this entrepreneurial blueprint we're building?
Okay, let's do it. Number 1, self-confidence. This isn't just general belief. It's a really strong self-belief, a commitment to goals, even when things are uncertain. And it's paired with optimism. That feeling that success can be achieved, it gives you conviction.
Right, conviction to lead.
Exactly. Second, seeking new ideas.
Yeah.
This is about a natural pull towards change and innovation. Not just avoiding repetition, but actively looking for better ways. Always searching for improvements, staying on top of new tech, market shifts. that kind of thing.
Constantly curious.
Precisely. Third, enthusiasm and passion. You see this high positive energy, this ambition. They don't like idleness. Often their business feels less like work and more like a full-time mutter. Well, the source calls it a hobby. They enjoy the process, not just the end result, like an artist or athlete.
An internal drive.
Yes. Fourth, not afraid of failure. This links back to the mindset, approaching challenges positively, accepting calculated risks because they see the potential upside. They actively manage the fear, seeing failure more as feedback.
Okay, what's next?
Fifth, accepts criticism. This is huge. Showing flexibility, considering others' opinions and advice, even when it's maybe tough to hear. Seeing critique is constructive, a path to getting better, not letting ego block improvement.
That takes humility.
It does. Sixth, perseverance and persistence. Working with real determination, refusing to quit when things get tough. It's about patience, overcoming obstacles, understanding that big results take time and consistent effort. More marathon than sprint.
Sticking with it.
Exactly. And finally, seventh, ability to persuade. This is the skill to present ideas convincingly, not just informing people, but inspiring belief and, importantly, action, whether it's investors, employees, customers.
You know, listing these out, it makes you wonder, are some harder to develop than others? The source mentions self-assessment tools, implying these aren't totally fixed, right? It even brought up something like enjoying math. How does that fit in?
That's a really interesting point, because it highlights that these are developable. They're like muscles you can strengthen. The self-assessment idea is key for finding those areas you might need to work on. And the math thing, it's probably not about being a math genius per se. It likely points to an underlying analytical drive. Pattern recognition, logical thinking, comfort with data, breaking down complex problems. Those are all incredibly valuable for strategy, for decision-making in a venture. It's that kind of investigative problem-solving mindset.
Okay, that clarifies it. So we've got the mindset, the traits. Now let's shift to the practical application. The skills. If traits are the structure, maybe skills are the tools you use. Success isn't just who you are. It's very much about how you do things, right? How you manage, how you behave.
Precisely. Yeah, specialists in this field often talk about 3 core skill categories that are really essential for an entrepreneur's effectiveness. And these are definitely things you hone and apply, not just innate talents. First up are technical skills. This means really mastering a specific area of the business, knowing your craft inside out, whether that's, coding, design, marketing, manufacturing, whatever it is. Knowing it so well, you can spot opportunities or problems others might miss. And you can guide the execution yourself, especially early on, not just delegate everything blindly. It's that deep operational know-how.
Got it. The hands-on expertise.
Right. Second are human skills. This is all about the ability to get work done effectively with other people, individuals, groups. And it's more than just being nice. It's sophisticated stuff. Real collaboration, handling conflict constructively, understanding different personalities, getting people to work together towards the goal. And crucially, it includes motivating, leading, communicating a vision clearly, and really uplifting a team so they perform better together than they would apart.
The people side, super important.
Absolutely critical. And the third category is cognitive skills, sometimes called perceptual skills. These rely heavily on thinking creatively, innovatively, but at a more strategic level. Think of it like the entrepreneur's mental GPS system. These skills allow for that big picture vision for a new venture, thinking about departments, tasks, how they'll all coordinate. It also involves diagnosing problems down to the root cause, analyzing the potential impacts, finding the right solutions, and using your knowledge and experience to generate creative ideas without messing up other parts of the operation.
So these 3 technical, human, and cognitive skills, they really represent that blend of practical know-how, people skills, and strategic thinking. It's not just what you know, but how you use it, who you work with, and how you see the road ahead. Makes sense. Okay, let's move to the final piece, which you could argue is the most foundational entrepreneurial ethics. This feels like the bedrock, the non-negotiable core of that whole blueprint we've been discussing. Why is ethical conduct so absolutely vital for long-term success and real impact?
Well, it's vital because at the end of the day, ethical behavior is what builds trust. And trust is everything. It also genuinely serves the community, and honestly, it's the only way to achieve sustained, meaningful growth. Our source puts it nicely. The aim should be to start a project intending to benefit people and society. Seeing business not just for profit, but as a powerful way to do good by fulfilling real needs. Without that ethical core, the whole thing is, well, unstable. It won't last.
Right. So what are the key ethical principles the source material outlines? What does the stable foundation look like in practice?
It lays out 7 core ethical considerations, and they focus on pretty universal principles. First, adherence to regulations and laws. This is about carefully following state rules to protect public interest, preserve rights, care for the environment, property. It also means avoiding practices that harm people or competitors. There's a principle mentioned, no harm nor reciprocal harm, which basically means your business shouldn't cause damage not to customers, the environment, or even competitors through unfair tactics. It's about fair play.
Playing by the rules and playing fair.
Exactly. Second, lawful and ethical earning. A solid commitment to making money legitimately and ethically, avoiding anything forbidden or harmful. This also covers things like financial transparency, paying employees fairly and on time, settling debts promptly, building that reputation for integrity.
Business the right way.
Third, accuracy and sincerity in work. This is about doing your work diligently, aiming for proficiency, making sure products or services meet specs, are high quality, not shoddy. It reflects that universal value of mastery, of doing things well because it's the right way.
Pride in your work.
Yes. Fourth, trustworthiness. The source uses the term amana, which is deeper than just honesty. It implies being a custodian, being entrusted with customer needs, employee livelihoods, societal well-being. So, avoid false claims, be open about product limits as well as benefits, don't exploit a customer's lack of knowledge. Act with integrity, advise others as you'd want to be advised. That builds real loyalty.
That's a powerful concept, custodianship.
It is. Fifth, good morals and character, seen as a primary attribute. Good character, respectful treatment key for winning and keeping customers and employees long-term. Avoid offensive language, be welcoming, respectful dialogue, genuinely serve the customer, lead by example, essentially.
Basic respect goes a long way.
A very long way. Sixth, adherence to public conduct etiquette. Just upholding general standards of behavior with everyone, teams, customers, the public. Includes things like environmental responsibility, keeping workspaces clean. The source notes, cleanliness is a sign of awareness and civilized behavior. It's about maintaining high standards in all interactions.
Setting a good example across the board.
And finally, seventh, social responsibility. This is the modern understanding of an entrepreneur's role towards people, the planet, society. Taking real steps to contribute locally, avoiding environmental harm, embracing global best practices for sustainability and stability. It's that triple bottom line thinking. People, planet, profit.
You know, what's really striking here is that this ethical framework isn't just about dodging lawsuits or PR disasters. It seems profoundly about building something truly respected, something enduring, an enterprise that genuinely benefits everyone involved, employees, customers, the community, maybe even future generations. It's about legacy.
That's exactly the point. It's foundational for true, lasting success.
We've really covered some serious ground in this deep dive, haven't we? Exploring those 4 pillars. The mindset, the traits, the skills, and that crucial ethical foundation, the complete blueprint.
Indeed. And it really reinforces that achieving entrepreneurial success isn't usually about one magic idea or just a burst of initial energy. It's much more of a holistic journey, continuously developing yourself across all these interconnected areas, consciously building that resilient, capable self.
So what does this all mean for you, listening in? We hope this deep dive prompts some reflection on your own path, whether you're deep in a venture already or just aiming to bring more of the spirit into your life.
Yeah, and maybe a final thought to chew on. Considering everything we've talked about today, embracing risk, developing skills, upholding these high ethical standards, if you had to pick one ingredient, maybe one that often gets overlooked, but that you feel is most crucial for achieving that true long-term success and impact as an entrepreneur, what would you say it is? Something to think about.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll keep exploring these insights in whatever you pursue.